You're listening to Utopia Talks with Jaguar and Katie, bringing you meaty conversations in dance music. No topic, and I mean no topic, is off limits. And we have a very fab guest today. Don't say we never treat you, all right? Today, we're joined by someone who exudes creativity in every sense, a live performer, a recording artist, a DJ, a fashion icon. They shot to notoriety after appearing in the UK's Drag Race in 2021 and have gone on to be quite the national treasure, to be honest. I'm getting a of approval. Really excited to chat to you today, Bimini.
Hello, thank you for having me. I love that intro. You missed off Diver though.
Oh yeah.
Okay, right. We need to hear about
water diver.
We need to hear about the diver. This is
Yeah.
the new thing. Then you this is your new passion.
Well, I've done it before in the past, but actually, me and my partner recently just got open water certified down in Santorini. It's not really known for it, but it was gorgeous to do like together. Now we're certified, so DJ tour in Australia in November. We're gonna hit up that Great Barrier Reef. Yeah, the Great Barrier Reef. Sorry, I'm getting really excited talking about aquatic wildlife. But honestly, like if it's not kind of DJs and people on my TikTok, it's aquatic wildlife.
With that music that always plays over every video about the sea. You know the one I mean?
Yeah.
Yo.
Yeah. It's so funny, but there's some really cool there's some really cool videos. So I love to geek out at that. That's my like little switch off, is getting under the water.
Have you got a camera as well for it?
Oh,
A GoPro.
Sick.
So I had a GoPro and then I lost the GoPro and then I got this like alternative version on Amazon that I thought was going to be really amazing, and it was really shit. Like the frames, it was like,
oh no,
it was bad. Yeah, and I tried to record myself DJing as well, and it was terrible to watch. So I'm gonna just get a GoPro when I go diving. Great Barrier Reef. I'm gonna come back with like footage of like I want to play dolphins my next song. You know.
Well, your next music video, just do it underwater.
Has that been done? Like, let's do it. I'm going to do it. I'm going to pitch it.
I think Justin Bieber and Nicki Minaj did that. Do you remember?
The swimming pool.
Justin dives underwater with the swimming pool.
Oh, yeah.
And then he comes back up.
That was like such
What
an
song
array
is
of
that?
technology. Beauty and the Beast.
Oh,
yeah,
thank you.
yeah, it was.
Thank you.
Why do I know that?
But I got to
so
keep an eye out for
quickly.
you know.
If you
Gotta
were,
keep it nuts.
Yeah.
if you were going to sum up the biodiversity of the UK, what would you say?
People judge the biodiversity of the aquatic wildlife in the UK, but it is really good in certain places. And there are some beautiful beaches in the UK.
Shout out the Channel Islands.
Channel Islands, there's some really nice ones in Wales, Cornwall. I went to St Ives and I thought I was in the Caribbean. Apart from it was fucking freezing. But they've got some beautiful, you've got really banging animals. There's gorgeous seals. You get some sharks in the UK. There's actually been, and I'm just going to say it now because I follow a shark YouTuber.
Sure.
There have been sightings of great whites as of recently.
Ooh. In the UK? Good.
They might be lost, but the waters are getting warmer because of global warming. So you might be seeing some more great whites.
Uh-oh.
I'll keep an eye out.
Yeah.
The new Jaws.
Bimini, thank you for coming on the podcast.
Thank you for having me.
This is exciting.
Yes, I'm really excited to be here. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, I mean, we're excited. I think, first question, did you have a very brat summer?
I had a very bright summer, thank you.
Very good. Very good.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I've been a 365 party girl for a long time. I'm trying to hang up that title because 365 party girl is not good for the wrinkles, but I've always been having a bratty summer. I think queers were having a brat summer before Brat was having a brat summer.
I agree.
Yeah, we've been doing a brat summer.
And plans
100%.
for brat autumn and winter?
I feel like brotominal. I feel like it's like, I think Charlie said it was over. So I don't know how it's going to transition into like, although I did see like a meme and it was like the orange colour and it says like 365 pumpkin that.
Oh, I did see that. I don't think it'll ever stop. I don't think we're over it.
Did you have a brat summer?
Yes and no. Like, yes. But I was actually like very like stable and sensible.
That's good.
Which is actually a really great thing.
Yeah,
for once.
exactly. I feel like it's better to just like have the facade that you're having a brat summer.
Exactly.
Without like the hangover and the anxieties and.
Did you, Katie?
I feel like you're ready for cunt autumn.
Cunt autumn.
Funny you should say that. I'm wearing something that I wanted to.
Yes!
I'm wearing this for you.
I
changed my top because
I love
I
this.
wanted to wear this for you.
I love this. The yellow looks so gorgeous on you as well.
Thank you. Yeah,
And
thank you.
what a lovely cunt. We love it.
Yeah, thank you.
I'm just obsessed with the fact that cunt has become like a word that is just like in vocabulary every day.
Let's go there right now because there's a lot of synergy right now. Like you literally have the lyrics, and I quote, I think people should stop being cunts and be more cunty.
Cunty.
Lots of cunty.
Yeah. And then this is the same this synergy, not of just the t-shirt, but the year I decided to invent a genre.
Yes.
As a joke called UK Cunty.
Yeah. I loved it.
Big red shoe emoji.
I love that.
And I feel like I feel aligned.
There's a lot of synergy happening.
Aligned.
I feel like the girls that get it, and if you get it, you get it. And I feel like
if you get it,
you get it. Like obviously, when I got in the studio and made that record, like it was with Gracie, who's incredible, Matt Rad, and Easy Fun, and we just when the three of us getting like. The four of us, sorry, there was four of us. The four of us get in the studio, we have a lot of fun. And I think that was like, for me at the time when we got in there and did that tune, it was just like, let's take the piss and make something that's just fun, you know? And like, looking at the news because it was so depressing and everyone's just being cunts. And we were like, just stop being a cunt, be more cunty. And it was just like a lot of fun to make. And that was actually like last November. Like I'd got in the studio and we did that, so it's only just come out. Like I hadn't put out any music since November last year. The last song I put out was Fashion Info with Absolute, who produced by Absolute. But yeah, this was like the first record in 10 months, and it was just a lot of fun. And hearing it back, and because it had been such a long time, I was like, oh my gosh, relevant now more than ever. Let's go.
I should have rephrased the question. Really, did you have a cunt summer?
Did you always a cunt
How are you
summer?
feeling about cunty autumn, winter?
I was born a cunt. I'll always be a cunt.
Fantastic. That is the right answer. Well, let's talk about your music, because this is one of the reasons I really wanted to get you on, is to dive into this new phase, right, of Bimini.
Yeah.
Obviously, as I said at the top of this, like creative in every sense. You've been embedded in the dance music scene since age, I don't know.
Well, I started going raves like 13, 14 years old.
13, 14.
Yeah, started going to raves back in the day. Like they were like literal, because I grew up in Norfolk and there's not much that goes on other than a lot of like forest raves. And we'd go and like do like hear like drum and bass, jungle. I remember like high contrast and like people like that were just, it was just like such sick music. And me and my mates would just like go and not tell our parents where we were going. Like I'd be staying at theirs, they'd be staying at mine, and we'd just go to these raves and like experience things that we probably should have done at that age. But it was like eye-opening, and that was my first array into dance music, really, at like that age. And then like I was always like a good time galley. Like we always used to love like going out dancing to the clubs, and like obviously the mix of pop music, but dance music was always the one, really. I remember like hearing there was like the high contrast remix of Hometown Glory with
my god, Adele.
Yeah,
Adele.
my
god.
And like I remember, because it was just like high contrast, they had a song called Kiss Kiss Bang Bang as well, which I was obsessed with back in the day. And like we used to like go to those raves, but then hearing that, and then I remember that getting on the radio, and we were like, what the hell is going on? Like this like underground kind of tune, like these DJs are like now just making this like music that Adele, remixing Adele. It was just so cool.
That's taken me right back to a moment in time.
It was so banging.
If We Ever was a high contrast one as well.
It was, they were like so great. And I think like, I got to experience like a lot of like hearing that kind of music, and then we'd go to the clubs and like start going out in like Norwich, really, and like going to like the scene. But as soon as I moved to London, that was kind of when I got into like the queer scene, because there wasn't any of that in Norfolk, you know.
Is it true that you used to DJ in Dalston Superstore?
I used to DJ in the Superstore, yeah. Not very well, but I did.
In the basement or the bar? Or
I
both?
did the bar. I did downstairs as well. I actually had I think I had lessons there. And I used to teach yoga in Dalston Superstore.
Sorry.
No way.
Hang on.
I know.
Hang on.
Like honestly, like I've had many lives, but I think
Wait, teach yoga during like the club or
No, could you imagine? Look, downward doggy.
So I was like, what?
No, it wasn't that, but it was. I used to teach, and it was like I was studying at the time, and I was like, had gone through like a bit of a mental episode, and went over to India and learned how to do yoga and teach yoga, and I came back and I used to like do like queer classes for a $5 down in the basement. Like they went to, the money was going to charity, but I used to like rock up with these yoga mats, like 13, 14 yoga mats and do it. But that was like as drag, I was starting drag as well.
So drag yoga or
I did do drag yoga once. I'll never do it again.
sounds quite like
I like
stressful.
one of the twins popped out at one point in one of the poses.
Was
and-
that a
Say no
move? Was
more,
that that's
say
not,
no more?
Yeah, there's
pop
no
your
more.
twin out.
Yeah, one of them came out, and I'm like, let's not. Like, this is why I don't do drag yoga.
Learn the hard
It was
way.
like a split. Like some of the poses, like aren't very flattering. You know,
Yeah.
you just got to really like let go. And doing that with a wig and a lash, it's unnecessary.
yeah. Yeah, I struggled to touch my toes at the best of times.
Yeah.
So fair enough.
But like, so in terms, so I think I was just like going off on a tangent. Raves back in Norfolk, came to London, started experiencing queer clubs, and I remember going to like Jodie Harsh's nights. She used to do like Gigolo and Room Service, and like hearing like really interesting dance music that I hadn't really heard, which was cunty. Like it was a bit more like, because we were like more like kind of drum and bass and jungle vibes. This was like a lot more like housey. A housey vibe, which was a lot of fun. And I remember getting really into like jacking house, or like there's a genre of jacking house. I don't even know if that's just like bass house now, or like what that would be called. But it was like people like Louis Benton, and like DJ EZ, like on Rinse FM, like used to listen to them all the time. And it was like we'd go to like Village Underground, and it'd be like two-stepping, and you know, like the shuffle kind of vibes.
Yeah.
But it was a lot of fun. But that was like I was with like straighter people then.
Were you out by this point? or-
Yeah.
Yeah.
Out. I was born out. No, literally, I was like basically you could tell
Yeah.
from a very young age, like very young
Yeah.
age, very flamboyant. But
What, really?
yeah, could you imagine? But no, like I used to. And this is what I used to always piss me off actually. But I think back then I kind of liked it, and I think it was an internalized homophobia. But I used to like hang around with these like galleys, and all their straight guys would be like, "Oh, you're well cool for like a gay person," and because I'd like get down and like skank and like be like having fun in the club, like to all this dance music that is like was quite straight, you know, like Weekend Defender and stuff like that, the tunes like that like I'd get really into, and I feel like that kind of gravel that was in, and then those guys would say that to me. At that time I'd be like, oh, that's really cool, because like. But actually now I'm like, oh, fuck you, because I'm like me. Anyone can listen to that music, you know? Anyone could be part of that. I'd noticed that in like a lot of rave spaces as well. Like we'd go to like a lot of rave spaces, and like it was like the underground raves, and I definitely feel like queer raves are so much better.
Yeah,
Like
it's
so much more of a safe space.
Agree.
Part of
Yeah.
the reason they're so sacred, isn't it?
Exactly. And I think like I'm glad I witnessed and experienced a lot of that, but I definitely think like I was still myself, but I don't think to the same point I would. Like I definitely think there were the times when some guys would like start shit, and like the galleys would jump in, and like we'd all kind of be in a bit of a brawl with these like straight lads because they'd call me like a rude word, you know? And like that was a shame for me, because I love dance music, and I was seeing it in these spaces, going to these spaces and not feeling really welcomed. So when I came to London and was become part of a scene, it was like amazing and refreshing to see, you know, like, because if you think back to like dance music, so much queerness is in dance music, you know, like especially the origin, like disco was like the best,
Exactly.
you know, and disco was like black, Latino, queer, a lot of people that were like erased because of like the kind of AIDS epidemic as well. We lost a lot of like those artists, and people like Sylvester, who's like incredible. These pioneers that were queer and black and like trans as well, you know, like there was so much of that, and it's a shame that like a lot of spaces don't appreciate the history of where dance music has come from.
Yeah.
I feel like that's something that we need to speak about more, because I feel like a lot of people don't respect it. And I went to a club in Ibiza for my 30th last year, and I was dressed up, and I didn't feel that comfortable.
Really?
Yeah, and I was like, this is disco music.
Ibiza's so straight these days.
So
Apparently
straight.
it used to be super gay and super queer friendly.
If I look at photos, so when I was 8 years old, I'd hear like trance music on the radio, like Rita Silva Touch Me, and like, or like 9 p.m. Is it 9? 8 till I come. ATV?
ATV.
Till I come.
Yeah.
And like that kind of music. But being like, I'm gonna go to Ibiza.
Yeah.
Like I loved it. Like it felt so free. And then like seeing these photos of like hedonism and like no phones and just like people having the best time and like appreciating music in a way that I think we don't get to see so much now because we have these super clubs. We have amazing DJs and it's always changing. And there's people like yourself that are like pioneering spaces to create safe spaces. But I do think there's still internalized homophobia within club spaces, especially super clubs, when it's playing dance music, you know? And like the origins of that, it's like kind of respect where it comes from. It's all about love and all about acceptance and freedom. And everyone should be able to feel free and be themselves on the dance floor. You like lose yourself on the dance floor and that's what it's there for. Shouldn't feel second guess yourself on it, you know?
100%. I mean, that's kind of what I grapple with of like, obviously you've got your soul nourishing gigs, which are often like the smaller queer events.
Yeah.
Or like my own utopia parties or whatever. And then some of these bigger events, like it's all like it could be anywhere, like a massive super club or a festival. The lineup is kind of a mixed bag. And I just sometimes when I look out in the crowd and I just can't see anyone I connect with. It's more rare these days because I literally have a like inclusion rider like in my bookings, like asking for it to be diverse when I'm booked, and they're pretty good at adhering. But if it's like a festival, for example, if you look out there and it's like a bunch of like lads and I'm like, I can't relate to you, and like not in like a you know, whatever, like it's just really kind of sad. It makes me sad because that, but like those early days of raving for me were like about connecting with my queer side and like that, going into that and feeling accepted and seen.
Absolutely. I think that's so important. And I think as well, like I, looking back, had those experiences with like the males that were like quite macho, that were friends with my galleys, that would say things like, oh, you're not as camp as this person, or you're not like that, just because I'd get down. And actually, like, at the time thinking when I'm 18 years old, oh, thank God they think like that. Now I'm like, put my middle finger up to that, like, no, fuck you, you know, like, and it's a shame because it's all interconnected. I feel like the fact that we can't be themselves or they can't be themselves, they can't just let go. There's so much pressure to feel they have to like adhere to the societal pressures we all do, but they're like, stop being a cunt, basically. I think like it's a shame. I feel like the dance floor is a place that is so sacred and we need to save those dance floors and those spaces. And it's such a shame when you do hear of like spaces in London since 2012, like lost 50% of venues. And like, yeah, we've got amazing events happening and stuff, but we need these places that are like sacred and keep it going for queers coming forward, you know?
Yeah, I was going to talk to you about this because wasn't your first drag performance at the Glory?
Yeah.
Which we've lost.
Yeah.
Oh, shout out the Glory.
Shout out the Glory.
Such a good space.
Yeah.
They birthed me.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I used to love the Glory. They were like, I used to DJ at the Glory as well. Like they were really super supportive of like queer and nurturing queer talent. And I think like we need those spaces. Luckily we've got the Divine and it's owned by the same people.
I still haven't been.
Yeah, I
Have you
haven't
not
been either. I
been?
really want to go.
We need to go.
I did my first my first DJ set since coming back as like doing DJing. Was my first place was at the Divine. I used to do it years ago, but obviously like after Drag Race, like life went a different way. I had like management that told me not to do it for a bit, so I was like doing other things. But like a lot of my music I've made over the years is all based on dance music and like 90s dance, and there's all like influences of that. So I think like it felt natural to get back into it. But I used to DJ at the Glory, and what's really funny is they used to be so like I don't know what the word is, but maybe proud, because they had like the CDJs that were CDJs, like CDs. And I had to learn on CDs because they were like, if you want to DJ here, like you've got to do it on CDs. It's like everyone does it. And they were like very like very stubborn about it. Like they were like, "There's no like, we're not getting new decks." They did get them in. They did get them in the Divine Now, but they had like the CDJs. So I used to like get all my music and burn them onto a CD. Like you used to
That's so
literally have to.
long.
I know.
Yeah.
You used to have to literally go and like this is like 2017, 2018. Go and like put all this disco music because I started disco DJing. Like that was like the genre I was doing. And I would like, burn them on and have to like write all the songs so like I knew what was on. I mean, I loved it. It was like a fun thing to do. But yeah,
You put the hours in.
I put the hours in.
Have you
yeah.
still got the CDs?
Yeah, I do actually have the CDs. I mean, like I do. I'm like, listen, not. I think like now I know about like sound quality and how the importance of that is. But I definitely think there was a few YouTube rips on there.
Oh God, we've all been there, babes.
Yeah.
Don't you? Yeah.
There was a song that I could not find anywhere. It was called by Bonnie Tyler called "Tie Me to a Tree," and I heard it. Horse Meat Disco used to do their like hour and a half on a Sunday, and I used to like listen to that religiously. And it was the lyrics are like "Tie me to a tree, undress me," and it was just like this 70s like gospel disco tune, but it was so provocative and sexy. It was like so much fun.
Oh my God, love it.
Yeah.
So would you say, obviously you went on Drag Race in 2021, and it took
2021 it came out.
2021 when it came out. Obviously that was huge, really raised your profile. You kind of went in a different direction. Were you wanting to be DJing and like mainly doing music before that?
Yeah. I mean, I used to obviously like my performance. I would DJ like all up to before Drag Race, and then after Drag Race, when the opportunities were coming in to make music, I got in the studio like before Drag Race aired. Like I was like making music then. Like it was something that I would always have liked to have done. I think it was about finding confidence though. You know, like as a queer person who did drag, it felt hard to get into those spaces because it's still like, and like, you know, like there's like a level of like a boys club in that world. And like, I'd have the mentality of like, who's going to take me seriously as a drag artist making music? And now I don't give a fuck because it's like, I'm very proud of what I'm making and I'll keep learning, keep changing, keep growing. And I think that's important to just like be creative. And for anyone that is listening that wants to just do it and you believe in it, just go for it, you know, like make those changes. But I think the fact that the opportunities came, I was like, well, why would I not grab them? Like I want to get in the studio and make music, you know, like I've probably made like close enough to like 400 demos over the last few years. Yeah, I've like made so much music that like no one's heard, and it's all about like honing it and finding and fine tuning. And sometimes like I recently moved managements to Terry. Shout out Terry. We love you, Terry.
We love Terry.
And we went through a lot of my music, and Terry was like, "Why is none of this out? Like, there's so much fun stuff." So I'm like really excited for this journey, and I feel like I'm now doing it for me. Like I'm not doing it for anyone else. I feel like that was like a lot of pressure. Like I came from Drag Race, I had such like amazing opportunities, but I'm like doing what I want to do now, you know. And I think that's really important to kind of own that and do it. And like, if people are going to listen, people listen. If they don't, they don't.
Why did you feel like you couldn't do what you wanted to do before?
I think a lot of people after the Drag Race, after the show, there was a lot of people like, my life like changed overnight in like the best way. But I'm like a working class queer kid that had like not any of these opportunities. And next minute I'm like, I remember the first month after Drag Race, I shot like 4 covers of magazines in a month, and I'm like, what the fuck is going on in my life? And comes that, all this amazing stuff, there were people that like tried to take advantage of me, people that did take advantage of me, people that were pushing me in certain directions, people wanted me to go on like Strictly, and I'm like, that's not me. Like, that isn't me. I'm not going to wear a sequin dress on Strictly Come Dancing. Like, that's not what I'm going to do. And I think like it's been a hard battle over the years to like stay authentic to what I want to do and also listen to what other people tell me I should do. And now I'm at a place where I'm like, I'm doing what I want to do. Like, I'm not listening to these people because there's been snakes over the years, you know? Like, it's been amazing. I'm very lucky for all of the opportunity, and I'll never not be thankful. But, like, those dickheads could have not come with it, you know? So, like, now I think, like, I'm back in a place where I'm just focusing on me, focusing on the music, and loving it.
Good. That's the best thing
Yeah.
to hear.
Yeah.
And people you're working with, we should probably mention Absolute. 'Cause
Yes.
I know you guys have known each other for a long time.
I
right?
have known Absolute for years. I've known Absolute since like I first moved to London,
Yeah.
I used to see them DJing like all the time, and they used to DJ at a night called Super Electric Party Machine, which was with Larry T back in the day. And like it was like Amanda Lepore would come, and it was like so fab. And yeah, I've like known like Absolute for so long, and to see him doing all the amazing stuff he's doing, and like, it's just so well deserved, and I'm so proud of him because like we came from like the same scene essentially. We know the same people, and like just to see him like flying and like doing fucking Kylie Minogue remixes and everything. It's
Oh my
like
God, I
mega.
died when that
Yeah.
happened. One of my first ever gigs, actually, shout out to Absolute, was at what was it called? The What Club.
Yes.
And that was at Superstore in the basement.
Yep.
And like, I think that was the first time I played a queer night ever. Maybe like when I first moved to London, was like 2017. And yeah, when I met Anthony, like, I think it was at Park Life on like a really small mix mag stage, which was like a bus. I don't know. We met years ago, and we just really, really connected. And like, he's got that really like nurturing, kind soul. And like, he didn't have to book me for that night, you know, but it meant so much to me to like open the Dawson Superstore basement. Yeah,
he's such a babe.
We need to get him on.
He is lovely. He's really friendly.
Yeah.
He's like a
been
puppy.
really friendly to me. Yeah. Like a puppy.
He is.
Yeah, he is. You should definitely get him on. He'd be amazing.
I don't know why we haven't on the list. And in terms of like stuff you're making now, so you're sat on, how many demos? 300, 400 demos?
Probably about that, yeah. Like, no joke.
So
like, when I first signed with Terry, I'd like had to go through a lot of music and like whittle down to like 30 to go through just with Terry that I liked. But like, yeah, near enough probably around that. I worked with so many different people. Some of them, like some of it doesn't work, some of it isn't right. But I think like just getting in the studio and being creative, like I found the people I love to work with, and like that's been the beauty of it, you know? And I think like now I've been able to like accommodate a lot more time to it because it's like the main focus of what I'm kind of really doing. And I've got like a lot of opportunities coming up. Like I'm about to do the Australia tour in November. I'm going to DJ in Berlin for the first time, and I'm doing Homo Block as well, which is mad. So November's about to be a mad month, but I'm excited, and you know, like I'm not perfect, I'm not the best DJ ever, but I want to keep working and doing it, you know? Like I love learning it, and I love just doing it, and I love seeing the reaction to people. And I remember like as a kid listening to, like I said, all the trance music, saying like I want to DJ, seeing like Pete Tong and people like DJing and be like, that's what I want to do. Like I love that. And also like Kevin and Perry Go Large was a great movie. And although they did like kind of get the whole like ginger pubes thing, which was horrible because I was ginger, and I was like, all the kids would say that to me, there were some amazing moments of Kevin and Perry. Shout out Eyeball Paul.
Swings and roundabouts.
Swings and roundabouts.
Do you feel like music gives you an opportunity to express yourself in a way that drag doesn't, or like in a different way maybe?
For sure. And I think there's definitely, like I said earlier when I said there was people pushing me in certain directions, I think I have also felt that with my music. And it's like some people might not want me to do more of a dance element that were like from Drag Race, and if they were like fans, they were like more of a poppy side. And I think that for me it's like trying to bridge the two, because I think there's always going to be like a level of pop, but I think it's always going to be like a left side.
Also,
you know?
you've outgrown Drag Race now. You're bigger than Drag Race.
I love Drag Race, but I think like my opportunities in music, I don't think like I'm necessarily the same as what Drag Race would be, you know?
Yeah.
I'm just doing me. So I feel like I'm like excited for what's to come. Like we've got music coming out every 6 weeks. Like, you know, you get messages randomly like, hear this demo.
Yeah, no, I love it.
Yeah. But like, it's exciting. I feel like what's been amazing is like, I definitely think Terry, my new manager, has like been able to breathe like life back into me, because there was a moment where I think I was like very low, feeling very depressed, not feeling like I was doing what I wanted to do, because I wasn't DJing, I wasn't putting out music that I wanted to be putting out really. And she kind of like revitalized it, and like I'm just really excited for what we've got in store, you know. And I think it's like rebuilding, because I put out music the first song I put out was God Save This Queen, and then I didn't put another song out for like a year and a half. I mean, I need to just start putting music out all the time, because we had like a long break, and then I was meant to drop an EP, and then that waited a whole year, and then we still put out the same EP with the same songs, which could have been a year. Do you know? So it felt like there was a lot of time that was slow, but I think everything happens for a reason. I feel like mentally I'm in like the best place I've been in years. like I've cut the grass and the snakes in the camp, and I'm ready to just keep going, you know. And I'm so excited for people to hear the music because there's so much of it to come.
It sounds like you've got about 10 albums ready to
Yeah, I mean, I
drop.
think I'm like, I definitely had an album ready, and then I was like, no, we're gonna go in a different direction. Really, like I don't want to be putting out that. So we'll see what happens. But there's a lot of music
Exciting.
basically. I've got a lot of music.
Mm.
Yeah.
How? Also, I'm really glad to hear that you're in the best like headspace you've been in. That's lovely.
Yeah,
to hear,
it's
genuinely,
a
and
lot of
like
work.
acknowledge when you can say that
Yeah.
as well out loud. It's a really fucking amazing feeling.
Shout out Lines Mate, shout out Cordyceps,
Yeah.
shout out Reishi, shout out my mushrooms. Like we love that. But no, definitely. It's tough. I think being in a creative industry as well, like you can be exhausted creatively, and I feel like I definitely think working in nightlife as well, working in performance comes territory of like drinking and alcohol, and like I've kind of had to take a big step back from that to focus on what I want and my mental health, because otherwise the pendulum can swing the other way, and it can take out all the fun and creativity, you know.
Yeah, it really can. I've been like trying to do that, and like this summer for me, I just had a little sober spell in August.
Nice.
I got so tired. I got to August, I was like, I'm knackered from
Yeah.
July and June, and like even recognizing that when I need to do that, like anticipating, oh, this is a busy month or whatever, and like I think it's just getting to a space where you can recognize what you need to do to make things work for you.
For sure. I think there's also a level of like, and I do think a lot of people think I'm a super confident person, and I think on stage there is a level of confidence that I have, especially when I'm in glam and when I'm in I feel good. But I think like day to day, like I have anxiety, and I think like I struggle to focus on a lot of things, like my brain's all over the place, and that can be amazing for creativity, but it can also be like, oh my God, I've got to do this gig this weekend, so I'll turn up to the gig and then have a couple of drinks to like calm myself down. And like that's a real kind of tricky cycle that I can get myself cut into. So I'm trying to like avoid that, because I think it just spirals it. Doesn't help in the long run. You know, like 1 or 2 drinks is not 1 or 2 drinks. And it's also like understanding it's working. Like I'm like in a workspace, because when I started drag, I was doing it for bloody free drinks and like free drink tickets, you know? Like when I first started performing, like there was a lot of opportunities after a while of hustling, but like me and my drag mate Barbs were like getting booked, Bimini and Barbs, to like just be messes. Hot messes, and like we'd be drunk. So like it came with it. It's like I started the job that I'm doing now drinking. So it's like understanding and having those boundaries, and I'm definitely like cementing them a lot more now. I think it's so important.
I think so. That comes with experience as well.
Yeah.
Do you think there's like, I guess the answer is yeah, probably, but like a kind of dark side to well, I'd say drag, but also just the entertainment industry as a whole?
I think so, especially with artists that are if you're when you're putting music out, or you're in a studio, you're putting a lot of like your energy into a project or in something that you believe in and something that you love, and there can be people around that kind of exploit that. You can, if you're like, you can be exploited. I've definitely been exploited over the years. I think like that has spiraled me into a darker place when people I felt like have taken advantage of me, and all I really want to do is create, you know, and like and do that, and I don't create the best if I'm feeling that way. It's like a real cycle, I think, and especially in the entertainment industry, I think like when you're working late nights and you can get a rider and you can get free alcohol and like stuff, you can fall into that, you know. I think it's very common. It's a common occurrence.
Have you like used any specific kind of like techniques to like try and stay away from drinking, or like?
Yeah, I mean, yoga is
Yeah.
like, I think exercise and physical exercise, yoga especially, is like, it reconnects and grounds me. And like, I think I can get into a pattern of like overthinking and overanalyzing. And I think when I get into yoga, it really just like allows me to like I know yoga's that bitch. Like yoga is that bitch. Like that is what calms me down and keeps me grounded. So I've like recently got back into that, and like me and my partner are going like 4 or 5 times a week, and it's like the huge difference. I think like trying to be healthy for my mental health, physical and spiritually, is like the most important thing. Because I think when you want to give, I'm not giving the best I can give to everyone. Not even just myself, but to my friends, people around me, my family. Like if I'm feeling low or feeling in a darker headspace, it has like an adverse effect on everything, you know. So like trying to be as spiritually aligned. Also like started a mushrooms regime, and that's been banging.
Oh yeah, tell us about that.
So loving it, lion's mane and cordyceps first thing in the
Yes,
morning.
Love a lion's mane.
Love a lion's mane, and then I have my ashwagandha in the afternoon with a full glass of water, and then I have my reishi and magnesium before bed. And the crazy ass dreams after magnesium is mental. I don't know if it's the reishi or the magnesium, but I've been getting banging sleep. But I've been watching Lost lately, and I've been like
I've been watching Lost as
Have
well.
you?
I'm only on I'm halfway through series 1.
Okay, amazing. Well, I started watching that recently.
Oh
and
my
like,
God, obsessed.
I literally have dreams being in the islands and like
It's fucking
playing my
trippy.
music with it. It's weird. Like but like it's cool. I think like I generally believe as well when you're dreaming a lot, you're healing. I think dreaming is healing. Like when you're mentally like
Subconscious processing.
I think so. I feel better from it. So yeah, I'm excited for like this year. I think like September's a nice time to start fresh.
Oh, I've got one for you.
Go on.
When you dream, where do you go? Like,
I fly a lot.
oh,
Yeah.
oh.
Well, I was on the Lost Island the other day. But I fly. What do you mean, where'd you go?
Well, I meant like, okay, so this might sound like I'm a bit streamy right now, but I'm not. I have this theory, like, what if, and I'm really into like alternate realities and like dimensions.
I love.
Like, what if, because I have really vivid dreams as well. And I'm like, what if I'm like literally like going to like a different dimension or like world
A different plane.
or plane? Like, because some of the dreams, like, I can't remember if I told this on a podcast or not, but this is like, it really freaks me out. So it was last year, I had a dream that I went to the Channel Islands where I'm from, and I was in this graveyard, which weirdly I find quite a healing place. It's like, because it's like a childhood nostalgic place. Like, it's just a whatever graveyard. In my dream, my friend, he's alive in real life, but he died, right? And I was there at his grave, and it was really sad. And I put a pink flower down. I remember waking up being like, oh, that's fucking weird. Like, I told my girlfriend, oh, blah, 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 died in my dream. The next night, I went back to the graveyard in my dream, and the flower had wilted.
Oh my goodness.
It was there on the grave, and it had like wilted.
So
And I'm like, and I revisit places. But I'm like, am I just like crazy?
Mate, well, that's the best if you are, but maybe like that plane has a different time.
Yeah.
You know?
This
like,
is the thing.
That time zone could be different. I mean, listen, you're about to get into Lost a lot more, so you'll understand what I mean by all of that, because it's quite crazy. But that's cool.
I kind of love that theory.
I think the last time I've not been to a graveyard since I was a teenager, and we were drinking in it. But
yeah, why was that a thing?
Oh my God,
know.
yeah. Wait.
We used to have like a banging spot.
I know a spot.
Yeah, I know a spot. We'd go, like, it was like no one would catch us. But yeah, no, I fly a lot in my dreams.
Like through the air.
Yeah.
Like a
also
Dragon Ball Z Goku sort of.
Yeah, like I literally fly and I'm just like, like it's a lot of fun.
I want to do that.
I fly everywhere.
Like where? where are you going? Like,
so if I'm like trying to plan the route in my head, I fly there. Yeah, weird. You think you're crazy. But no, I do. Like, I see it in my head. Like, I'm flying from, like, say I'm, like, going from here to Dawson. I'd, like, fly there mentally.
oh my God.
Like, I don't... Like, how do you get there?
I've got the worst sense of direction, so that would never work for me.
Yeah, really? Well, I don't. I just fly over the buildings and I'm there.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that. I want to try that. So, I went to a lovely thing the other day. It was Munro, Bergdorf, and Gay Times at dinner. It was I felt very, very lucky to be there. And Munro did a really sweet speech. Like, she's such an amazing, like, I mean, human being, but speaker as well. And I think having like a group of queer people there, and Nadia from Big Brother was there.
Yes.
Who-
I met her recently.
Yeah, I hadn't even thought about her for years, because it was like in like 2004, I think.
20 years ago.
She won
Big Brother, yeah.
Big Brother, and she was openly trans.
Yeah.
And I like vaguely remember. I think it was probably the first like representation of a transgender person I've I would have.
I
Many,
think
many people would have.
on mainstream television.
Yeah. And it got me thinking. Like, I've been thinking about this a lot. And like Monroe was like, "I'm gonna make Nadia like you're my guest of honor." And she did this amazing speech about just like representation
Mhm.
and visibility and how important it is. Like how important it was for her to have seen someone who represents her on Big Brother, like the
Yeah.
biggest show in the world,
But like winning it.
and winning
So like the UK supported a trans
Yeah.
woman
in the early noughties.
in the early noughties. So
And-
what the fuck has happened now?
Yeah, and I've been thinking about this a lot, and I'd love to go there with
Yeah.
you, because it's almost like in 20 years' time, and especially the last few, it's like we've gone backwards.
Yeah. I think it's a shame. I think like we're seeing it a lot more across the pond. We're seeing it a lot more here. There is a spark and a rise in the right wing and the far right, and in turn from that, they want to close down clubs. They want to take away licenses. They want to do a lot of other really horrible things to other people. Like like I think there's like a level of it that's built inherently on homophobia, racism, transphobia, like all of this like prejudice against groups that aren't part of their their norm or whatever their norm is. And I think the media has politicized that, and the media has created this really evil landscape for hate to breed for other people, and it's building. And I think it's a shame that this pendulum is swinging the opposite way, because I think when everyone comes together, and I'm coming from a place where like I've been in those spaces where I've not felt welcomed, but I still took up space there, even if I maybe didn't. Like, I think we do need more of everyone coming together in a sense, like, and I think music is meant to be the thing that does that. And I think when I went to Ibiza last summer and I didn't feel welcomed in a place that was playing just disco music, that's a real shame, And I think when there has been more representation over the years, let's talk about like drag and queerness, that has riled people up the wrong way. And in turn, that has now created this like division and this hatred, and this now, especially against trans people, and it's always trans women, this kind of scapegoating, and this like they are the other and we need to fear these people, when actually no, we need to come together and be supportive of people that aren't like us and aren't the same as us, and understand each other in a human way. Because what we are experiencing in 100 years, none of us in this room are going to be here, and we just got to live it the best we can, like this human experience is very unique, whatever this human experience is, and whatever we get to experience, we should be trying to do it with as much love and compassion as we can. And I think there's hope, because we are seeing artists like Chapel Roan hitting it in the fucking mainstream as this like inspired by drag, as a drag queen, and just all of these crazy amazing looks and the music that she's doing. And like I think like we need that.
Kim Petras as well.
Kim Petras, I know you always play a bit of Kim.
Oh
Yeah.
I have my toxic trait is playing like all of Slutpot Miami in every single video set. Are you ready for a rim job?
Yeah.
I just it's
Throat Goat.
UK
another
I
classic.
I get
Throat Goat.
requests,
Yeah.
Throat Goat. God.
It's
Cock
banging,
blocker.
but
sorry.
those artists are so crucial to
yeah.
have artists that are breaking the norm and being artists, because what I don't understand is the hysteria around kind of the conversations with gender as if they haven't always existed. And also like these people that like are scared of queerness weren't listening to David Bowie 50 years ago, like 40 years ago, who was someone that was playing with androgyny and fashion and gender, and like people like Prince. Like I remember the first time I heard Prince on the radio, on Radio 6, like back like years ago, like, and then looking up Prince and like getting into and seeing their flamboyance that was celebrated, and I think there is a level of like fear attached to being kind of anything that is different, but we need to celebrate that, because I think that's beauty, and that's where the most amazing things come from. And Pete Burns is like my number one when it comes to like being yourself and like not giving a fuck about gender. Like they were just someone that was like so authentic in themselves. And I remember like growing up, seeing them in the mainstream and like I don't know, just the way that they were spoken about was like ridiculed because they were like presenting very femme, but then being masculine. And actually, a lot of the societal, the negative societal tropes with this comes from the fear of femininity
Yeah.
and the hatred of femininity.
Misogyny.
Misogyny. It's a misogyny, and that misogyny isn't. The misogyny comes across all forms of femphobia. Like and anyone that is like seen as femme or is femme is affected by that form of misogyny.
That's a good point. So what do we do?
I think we just have to keep like Trojan horsing it with people like Chapel Roan.
Yeah, wheel her out again.
Yeah, come on. But no, like I don't know. I think like I hope we get to a point where like I don't know if we will. Well, I hope we do. No, let's go back to being hopeful.
Yeah.
We're hopeful. No, I think like we just need more visibility all the time. Like you're talking about Nadia representation, like actually looking at what has happened over the last 20 years that has made this like there's a lot of like right wingers that create these false narratives against trans women to make people fear trans people. But we had Nadia win Big Brother 20 years ago, and like what bad happened? You know, like it's crazy to think that like the media allow it.
I feel like the rest of the queer community also have like a really important role to play in standing with trans people.
Yeah.
Because I think there are definitely some people who are like of the mindset of like, oh, gay people are okay, but trans people aren't.
Yeah.
And if gay people are like, what the fuck are you talking about? That will also help a lot, I think.
I think there's a level of like, well, there's no LGBT without the T. Like I'll say that until I die. Like I've always said it. They were like a lot of trans women at Stonewall.
Martha P.
Johnson, exactly.
Yeah.
Like these people were at the forefront of the riots and the movement that we are here today to do what we do. So to ignore trans people in the conversation is not only erasing history, but it is disrespectful to do that. And I do think there's a level of like a lot of queer people, maybe gay people, but they don't identify as queer. Maybe gay people that pull up the ladder because they haven't had to fight for anything. And like there is a level of like, oh, my life is okay. I'm a gay person. Like, oh, this is different to me. And that's a shame because actually like society has always treated queers and gay people as different, you know? And I think like we do need to come together and support everyone in the community.
I think we also need music, art, drag as well to like be more political. I feel like sometimes...
Well, drag inherently is political.
Yeah,
It should
and
be more
music
so.
a lot of the time as well. And I think sometimes we're losing our way a little bit with people like making art for algorithms rather than for people. I think that's another thing that like needs to change. We need to stand up for things and say things and mean things.
I'm looking for a protest for human rights. Get that one going viral.
Yeah.
Do you think artists like have a do you think artists have a duty to be political, or queer artists have a duty to be political?
I think queerness is political,
Yeah.
and I think a lot of the time, and I've said it before, there's been times where I've been asked to do interviews and I've declined because they've wanted me to look a certain way, and I'm not doing that. I'm me, and I'm. This is not your gaze. I'm not doing a hetero gaze. Like I'm me, and I'm not gonna come on a show just to take up space for like a bloody 5-minute segment if you're telling me to look a certain way, because you're not respecting me as an artist. You're just seeing me as a queer person that can be dressed up however they want. And I think queer people need to know their worth when it comes to that. Because I'm sure there's a lot of drag artists that because if they've done it to me, I'm sure there's other drag artists that have been asked the same thing, you know, and you've got to stand your ground and say, no, I'm not doing that. Like, I'm not about to sit on a TV show in a high-rise song at 9 a.m. in the morning, because that is not going to be, like, I'm not going to do it. I'll do it in a club, I'm not going to do it here. Like, there's a level of, like, kind of understanding whether it's going to benefit you or it's going to make a mockery of, and I think that's what they were trying to do to me, you know? So I think it's trying to have your wits about you, and like, I think I'll always kind of try and stand up for what I believe and who that is, and support however I can, as long as I still get a microphone to do it, you know? I'll keep going. And I think, like you said about whether artists should be political, I think it's a shame when artists don't. in a way. Like, especially when you have a massive platform, especially if you have artists that are queer fans, you have queer fans, and you don't stand up and like support that. I think that is a real big shame.
Yeah, I think that's really well said. So I was in New York the other day, which was fab, and we went to the Martha P. Johnson Memorial in
Amazing.
Williamsburg. Like, I was staying right by it.
Yeah.
And I didn't even know because I didn't even know there was like a memorial park, because I've lived on my second time there ever. But it actually was so special and so emotional. There was loads of information like about her, about Stonewall riots, about pronouns, about like transness, and it genuinely made me so happy.
I love that.
Yeah.
I'm so glad that they're like celebrating her and celebrating the legacy, because I think a lot of the times we have conversations about pronouns, just as an example, and like a lot of offices like might put the pronouns in the email, which is totally fine. But actually, there's a level of like, what if a person doesn't want to come out as a certain thing? I think there's a level of like there's an expectation with that, and it's rather than understanding whether that's actually benefiting. Who is it benefiting to have the like? I know it's meant to be for the good, but I have spoken to people that haven't felt comfortable at work to out themselves as being non-binary or as being trans, so have been confused about how to put that in. And also, people make a mockery of pronouns, and I think there's a big, especially when you have people like Piers Morgan that like, oh, I identify as a penguin. I'm like, good for you. Like. The thing, again, it comes back to like understanding other people's experiences to be different to yours, and that's okay. You know, it's okay to not be the same as the other person. Like, it's okay to maybe not even understand, but like, you don't have to be a dick about it. Like, why are you going on social media and saying that these people don't exist when there's a lot of people that are saying that they identify as this? That's okay if they identify as how they want to identify. Like, we need to stop policing people and how they feel, because otherwise, if there's 8 billion people on this planet and there's only 2 ideals of what male and a female is to be, then it is very rigid and it is very problematic, and it kind of stops allowing us to kind of express ourselves in certain ways, you know? Like, the idea of the binary doesn't benefit anyone except for like the straight white man at the top, you know? Like, they're the people that benefit from it. A lot of men don't even understand that they are being kind of, they're a victim to this idea of masculinity, and they can't be feminine, or they can't show emotion, and in turn we see that happening with like domestic violence. And why does when a football match and the team loses or even wins, why is there an increase in domestic violence? Because a man hasn't been allowed to express themselves emotionally in a way without showing anger. And anger is a valid emotion, but so is crying, and so is being upset, and so is being vulnerable. And I think we need to nurture that and understand that femininity isn't weakness. In fact, it's empowering, you know?
Oh my God. Yeah, I mean, so fucking well said. I think it makes me sad, you know, that there's a lot of men from definitely like that older generation, but also, you know, people our age as well, like they're conditioned by the patriarchy and attacking things they don't understand. And you see it on, there's so much shit online. Like, I really have to like dip in and out of being online, and you can literally just be going about your day having a normal happy time, and then fuck me, like the algorithm can just serve some wild stuff.
It's a shame.
Yeah. How do you like tackle that? How do you protect yourself?
So there was a video recently that went kind of semi-viral in the wrong side of viral that it should be, and I still get comments to this day on it. And it was a video of me and my partner, and we were taking the piss. I don't know if you know the Pookie video. You know, it's like, I'm taking my Pookie down to, it's like on TikTok. Anyway, we recreated it as a joke, and it got on the wrong side of TikTok, and picked the comments. Like, my boyfriend was like, don't tell me, because it just like anger him and upset him. I don't read them, and I think that's the thing. And actually, I don't care, because like, I don't, when it comes to this, like, you're always going to have negativity. But some of the comments, I'm like, you should be put in prison if you're going to say that, you know? It's about like, I want to take a like trigger
sending
warning.
death threats.
Sending death threats on a comment, and I'm like, how is that acceptable?
We
Like,
should,
why is
like-
that allowed?
That should be like illegal.
It should totally be
There's
illegal.
no laws or anything.
I feel like
around
it is illegal
Or
if you
is it?
say it in real life.
Well, yeah, I think
Does it count if it's online?
the thing is, there's freedom of speech, but I
Right,
don't
yeah.
think freedom of speech should come without freedom of consequence, because
Yeah.
the fact that you're allowed to write comments like that on my post, like, it's just wrong. I just feel like, but also actually, because I can get angry, and then you could be like, oh, well, I feel sorry for them, because I would never go and comment on a negative. I never write a negative comment on someone's video. I don't go out of my way. I never have. I never will. Touch wood. No, not touch wood.
it's
No, I
like,
don't know why I touch
what
wood,
in
but
your
I've never done
brain-
it. Why are you
Yeah.
doing it?
But genuinely, I want to know,
Yeah,
what does it give them?
it's like the Daily Mail comments.
Mm.
Like, what? Who are you? Like, why are you doing that? What is it gaining from your day to do it? It's sad, really. And I think like that's a real negative side of social media, and something that needs to kind of be looked at in the long term. Because I know I grew up as social media was kind of coming in. It was like, first of all, Bieber, and then it was like MySpace before, but it was just kind of a bit before. And I think like I see my younger sister growing up, who's like just turning 18 now, and I'm like, they're so much different.
Mm.
It's so much different, and I feel like it's a real shame, because there's like so much more pressure in a way. I think they're a lot more like reserved and anxious,
Yeah.
and it's a shame.
I think that also goes back to what we were talking about earlier in clubs about people
Yeah.
like not wanting to dance a certain way. Because like I saw a video on Twitter a while ago go viral of a guy just dancing in fabric, and everyone was taking the piss out of him.
Yeah,
And it's just like, why?
and it's like, why are you there if you're not there to have fun?
Do you know what I mean?
Like, I remember the club I'm talking about in Ibiza. I'm not like going to mention a name, but like the music they were playing, and there were just people just stood there filming it, and I'm like, but why are you watching the DJ play the suit through your phone?
Babe,
It's
you're
just a
never going to watch
shame.
that video back.
You're never going to watch
Seriously.
it back. You're going to do a little clip, and you're probably not going to post it, because you're going to be like feeling, oh, I can't post that, and it's a shame. Just fucking live it and be it, you know. Like it's a yeah. I had another point, but I've forgotten it. We're just putting the world to rights, and I love it.
No, I know. Who else can we throw under the bus?
No, but like I think coming back to like the conversation with like masculinity,
Yeah.
like I've over the years kind of explored my gender, my identity. I'm very comfortable with expressing myself how I want to express myself, and like I think I've had to accept as well. Not had to accept, but I've learned that these people that like say the straight white male who has been negative to me in the past, I have to look at it and think, you know what? It's not your fault. Like, it's a societal problem. It's a deep-rooted systemic issue with masculinity and femininity in society, and actually they're a victim of it as well, but in a different way. Yeah, they've got more of a power, but actually, like, how happy are they? How comfortable are they? What's their like porn history? Like, are they allowed to be themselves? You know, like, it's a shame, and I feel like we need more fluidity in the world, and just allow people to express themselves however they want to. And I think until we get to that understanding of like how limited and rigid the binary can be, we're never going to get there. And a binary, like the idea of being like non-binary or like rejecting is just a rejection of that. You know, it's like, I actually don't, I have masculine traits, I have feminine traits. I don't feel like I can I don't like a lot of the negatives with the masculine side, and I have the feminine side as well. I'm just me with it, you know, like I can be fluid between the two. And I think like that can change for everyone, but having the idea of being non-binary, it doesn't diminish the rights of anyone else. It doesn't diminish how anyone else feels. If you feel like you are a female or male, that's totally valid, but don't invalidate another person's experiences, you know, like don't knock someone else down.
Yeah. Very well said. We're coming towards the end.
Oh, I feel like we've just been
I
speaking
know-
for 5 minutes.
I know. This has genuinely been incredible. I've got a couple more questions. Is that, I mean, before
let's do it.
we do have, like, is there anything else we haven't covered that you would want to?
No, I
think
think
we've-
like it's been a really fun one. I think like, yeah, just speaking about like dance music and then putting the world to rights. I feel like they're my two loves.
You know? Great. Me too.
Yeah.
Hence the podcast. Okay, a couple more questions. You're a busy bee,
Mm-hmm.
my darling. What is coming up next? What are we going to see?
I'm gonna look at my diary
Yeah,
because
do
there's
it.
lots. But like Fashion Week's about to happen,
Mm.
and it probably would have happened by the time you're listening. But then I'm gonna be performing in Madrid. I've actually gonna be launching my own podcast, which I'll just say as well, which I haven't announced yet.
Exclusive.
Exclusive. And then I've got like a lot of. I'm gonna be in the studio a lot. I've got a tour in Australia in November. I'm DJing at Homo Block, and I'm DJing at Monsters Berlin
Lovely.
on the 30th of November. So I've got a very exciting year ahead, and some other bits in between. But yeah, there's a lot going on, and new music as well,
And diving.
and diving in the Great Barrier Reef.
I feel like there's like a documentary in this. Like,
Ocean preservation.
yeah, maybe.
I mean, I'd love that. Like,
Put it
I feel,
on the list.
yeah, no, 100%. But no, I love it. Like, I feel like I'm excited for what's to come.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, amazing. We have a final question. Do you want to ask the final question?
Yeah, so we ask this one to every guest.
Mm-hmm.
It can be, your answer can be serious, it can be silly. What is your utopia?
My utopia is a gorgeous sunrise about 5 a.m. in the morning. You've been out all night long listening to banging music. It's outdoor. The sun is rising. There's a mountain setting. You're with the people that you love and you're watching a sunset happen with the best music. And I think there's no other happy place on earth other than that time. I think that's my favorite ever time.
Oh,
That's beautiful.
God. Take
Mm.
me there now.
Yes.
That sounds wonderful.
Like, there's nothing like a banging sunrise.
I agree. And it's like start of the day,
Yeah.
optimism, new possibilities.
Mm.
That
Yeah.
like golden, gorgeous sunlight as it
Mhm.
touches your face and your skin.
There's so much new opportunities, but as you have been out the night before, you
Your
also
ears
have
are
to
ringing a
sleep.
little bit.
Yeah.
You need to sleep.
You're also like, thank God, I
Yeah.
can go to
I've
bed.
got to go to bed. But no, that's a special time, I think, on
Yeah.
the planet. Everything's still,
Oh,
apart from the bass line.
Bimini, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Woo, see you soon.
Love you.